Alrighty, we'll go ahead and get started with the meeting of the Regional Flood Control District.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Item number 1 is comments by the general public.
This is the first time set aside for public comment. This time is limited to comments on items included on today's agenda. Those wishing to speak on a posted agenda item, now is your opportunity. Please come forward to the microphone, state your name for the record, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the first public comment period.
Thank you. Item 2 is action to approve the agenda with the deletion of any items. Mr. Chair, the agenda is in order for approval.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
There's a motion on the floor. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 3 is annual elections. Mr. Chair, NRS requires the board to meet in July each year to elect a chair and vice chair and to elect a secretary of the board. Staff would recommend that we continue Deanna Hughes as secretary of the board.
Great. Mayor Goodman, do you have a motion?
I would like, can you turn me on? I have to have you here. You have to be the chair because nobody else knows how to work. I recommend we continue on with our executive team as serving so well this past year.
All right. Well, that's a motion from Mayor Goodman to retain me as the chair and my colleague Isaac Barone as the vice chair.
And
Do you
Deanna Hughes as secretary.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah, with him as lead, it's good to be Robin did that.
Does the motion include Deanna Hughes as secretary?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
yes, so moved.
All right. There's a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 4 is action to approve the minutes of the June 8, 2023 meeting. Mr. Chair, minutes in order for approval.
All right. There's a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the June 8th, 2023 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 5 is to discuss the general manager's monthly report. Mr. Chair, no projects completed construction this month to report on, but I did want to mention that we did have our press conference for flash flood safety on June 27th. It was very well attended by all the media outlets. We had some great speakers. The conference was held at the Silverado Ranch Detention Basin at Silverado Ranch in Decatur, which coincidentally we had some flooding there last summer, but this basin has since been completed and is going to take care of those flooding issues. So it was a great place to hold the press conference. I want to thank Chair Jones and Vice Chair Barone for attending and speaking at the press conference, as well as Chris Outler from the National Weather Service. Mr. Jim Giordano from our Citizens Advisory Committee actually came and spoke. He is on our Citizens Advisory Committee, but also works for a local developer here in town, and one of their developments is protected by that very detention basin. So it was good to hear his comments from their point of view. The press conference was attended by all the major media outlets here, 3, 5, 8, and 13 attended, as well as channels 2 and 4, the public stations. Telemundo, Univision, and the Review Journal Spanish reporter was there to cover it. We had quite a bit of coverage throughout the day, which is really good. We did one-on-ones after the press conference, and then I did go back at 6:30 p.m. after the press conference on the same day, and Channel 13 been out there doing live shots all day long. So, and then I did a live shot with them at 6:30. So it was really, really, really good coverage and really effective getting our message out to the community. So thanks to everyone involved, and we appreciate your assistance in getting our message out to be flood safe.
And I just want a special shout out to your PR team. They were fantastic, super efficient, and getting that amount of press out for this event was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Michelle French was responsible for setting the whole thing up. She did a great job, and it went off without a hitch, I think. So, yeah, thank you for those comments. And with that, that concludes my GM report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? No?
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to say I want to also thank the outreach to Latino media. We had several of the outlets come out. Some things seem like they'd be obvious, but I think when it comes to anything to do with public safety, I think the public can never be reminded enough how important it is to stay out of the water and to stay safe. So thank you very much for your team.
Yeah,
Thank you for doing the Spanish press. That's super helpful.
Well, yeah, that had Danger Stranger guy. He looks great on the Latino media, and the towels, they were very well received. So yeah, we have to. Man, if we have any more of those, there are upcoming like back to school events. We should get the team out there and give those things out. It'd be great.
Absolutely. Let us know and we'd be happy to help you with that. Yeah, Ranger Danger is very popular and the kids have really liked that character, so it's great to reach the younger audience.
By the way, I want to point out, I was surfing and I was paying bills online and surfing the web, and the Granger, Stranger, and flushing things into the thing, and it came up not once, not twice, but 3 times, and I actually took pictures this time, right? And I was actually really impressed. The amount of outreach that the flood control district is doing right now is very timely. I have a feeling we might have a couple of events, right, in the next few weeks, so perfect timing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Well done. All right. So if no more comments, we'll go ahead and move on.
Part 2 of your agenda is the consent agenda. Either items 6 through 15 and are considered to be routine and may be acted upon in one motion if the board so desires. Mr. Chair, I need to point out a correction in item 12. There's an ID mile listed in there that is incorrect, so I need to note for the record that the ID mile for the added facility for the new scope of work should be labeled TRSW0080. And with that change, staff recommend approval of the consent agenda.
All right. All right, there's a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Part 3 of your agenda is discussion items. Item 16 is action to approve a master plan change for the Jim McGoy Detention Basin collection and outfall, Clark County. Mr. Chair, we do have a presentation prepared for this item, and Mr. Chad Halverson with Jacobs will be presenting, and this is a public hearing.
Yeah, I'll use this one. Oh, okay. Sorry. Good morning. My name is Chad Halverson with Jacobs on behalf of Clark County Public Works. I'm here to present the master plan change for the Jim McGoy Detention Basin project. Project's located on the northeast corner of the valley near Owens and Las Feliz Street. Current 28 MPU facilities impacted are the SLOW and SLWA facilities. These are being reconfigured with this master plan change. And so the next slide shows the proposed master plan change. The largest difference between this and the current master plan is the outfall from the detention basin is aligned largely in established right-of-way, so it doesn't require any easements or acquisition of right-of-way. And the detention basin is somewhat smaller. The original detention basin proposed was 88 acre-feet. This is now 72 acre-feet. Quick slide of the detention basin plan with a cross-section going across from Las Feliz on the right through the basin floor and across the emergency spillway. So we have a number of facilities included with this, including a concrete channel, number of sizes of reinforced concrete box, number of sizes of reinforced concrete pipe, and horizontal elliptical reinforced concrete pipe. So this estimate is based on the Regional Flood Control cost planning tool. The original 2018 MPU estimated costs are approximately $6.5 million. This proposed master plan change totals $7.3 million for an increase of about $790,000. And this particular action would result in no fiscal impact. And this master plan change is in conformance with
Mayor Goodman has
revised
a-
statutes. I'm sorry?
Mayor Goodman had a question.
Sure.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. The differential, is that mostly the cost of materials, or is it a combination of that and cost of employment?
Largely, it's materials. The facilities have been based on more detailed design. For instance, we have what was originally an open channel that's now a concrete box. that's more expensive, and the outfall from the basin is larger because we're picking up some flows as they go down through the local streets also.
So it is a combination, though, of both the materials as well as your cost of construction, salaries?
Correct. It's what's built into the cost planning
Okay.
tool, so.
Yeah. Keep in mind that these estimates are done using our cost estimating tool, which just provides us just a general number based on the facility itself. And then we'll do a detailed cost estimate with the project, which you're gonna see in the next presentation, which is actually quite a bit higher than that cost estimating tool gave us, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and do we have any further questions?
Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, then we'll go ahead and open the public comment. Anyone wishing to provide public comment, please step forward to the microphone, state your name, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public comment on this agenda item.
Mr. Chair, if there's no questions or comments, staff would recommend that you follow the recommendation as listed in the backup.
All right, there is a motion to approve. We have to accept the project presentation and approve and authorize the interlocal.
Oh, no, this is the master plan change.
Oh, I'm sorry, master plan change 16. Yep. All right, there's a motion on the floor with regards to agenda item number 16. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I just follow staff recommendation. Sorry. Let's see. Item 17 is the Jim McGoy Detention Basin Collection and Outfall, Clark County. Item 17A is action to accept the project presentation. We do have a presentation prepared for this item as well, and Mr. Chad Halverson is going to provide that presentation.
Morning, Chad Halvers again with Jacobs, representing Clark County Public Works for construction funding for Jim McGoy. So again, project's located in the northeast corner of the valley. And this is similar to what you saw before, showing the proposed facilities, and these facilities are based on the just approved master plan change. Very quickly, we're collecting flows on the east side of Los Feliz, including 6x6 RCB, a 12x6 and RCB, along with 12x6 concrete channel. These discharge flows into the basin, approximately 1,200 CFS enters the basin. The basin itself is, again, 71 acre-feet. And includes a 36-inch RCP outlet, which discharges 56 CFS, along with a 152-foot wide OG Crest emergency spillway designed for 9,200 CFS. And then outfall facilities also include a 42-inch RCB, 60 by 38-inch horizontal elliptical RCP, and a 5x4 RCB that ties into the existing Washington channel. Again, the detention basin footprint. We've got, this is another cross-section crossing the outfall facility, the low-flow outfall, and this again is crossing the emergency spillway. So similar to the previous presentation, we've got concrete channel and RCB. The RCB depths range from about 8 feet to 32 feet. Again, RCP depths range from about 6 feet to 22 feet along the alignment. The horizontal elliptical pipe is relatively shallow at about 4 feet deep. This is a site photo looking west from Owens and from Owens. It's looking across the Michael Callahan Middle School. The site is just upstream of the middle school. And this is looking east into the mountain range that develops the flows that we're mitigating with this basin. Project enhancements include a monument sign for Jim McGoy, located on the northeast corner of the detention basin site. Project costs, total project costs are approximately $24.4 million. We've got $290,000 of developer participation, and the funds we're requesting total approximately $24 million. Project status, construction documents are 100% complete. Environmental requirements are satisfied. Right-of-way has been acquired, and we have an approved dam safety permit. Project schedule, awarded bid November 2023, construction start in March 2024 with a duration of approximately 10 months. And with that, I'd be happy to take questions.
Any questions from the board? Do you want to talk about
Yeah.
Mr. Boy?
Mr. Chair, before we vote on this item, we just wanted to spend a moment or two talking about Mr. Jim McGoy, who this basin is named after. Mr. McGoy was a state assemblyman from 1984 to 1993 in the Nevada State Legislature. He's considered one of the founding fathers of the flood control district. He actually was here in Las Vegas in the late 70s and early 80s when he witnessed flooding happening here. He remembered a young baby girl that was killed in a flood, and it spurred him to action. And so he sponsored Assembly Bill 169, which allowed for NRS to be revised to allow for the creation of a flood control district. He also put a lot of thought into this legislation and how this board ought to be made up. There was a lot of discussions about whether it should be run by the Clark County Board of County Commissioners or whether to have a regional board, and the decision was made to have a regional board so that all the agencies could have a say in how the money is spent and what was done to improve flood control here in Clark County. The Assembly and Senate passed that bill unanimously, and Governor Richard Bryant, who experienced flooding actually here in Las Vegas as well, signed it on June 2nd, 1985. But the work wasn't over then. Mr. McGoy worked with Clark County Commissioner Bruce Woodbury to help get a statute passed here in Clark County for the actual creation of the flood control district, and that was in 1986. There was a lot of networking and things that had to be done. There was a sales tax that had to be passed to fund the flood control district, so a lot of work and outreach had to be done to gain support for that. But I think it's clear that over the last 3 decades or so that we can see the fruits of that labor, and with all the work that's been done in Clark County, and it's improved the quality of life of the residents here and certainly made us more resilient to flooding. Mr. McGoy was quoted as saying that that was his finest hour as legislator when he saw that, as a legislator when he saw that bill pass. So in 2018, the Board of County Commissioners met, and they had an item to do a proclamation for Mr. McGoy and to rename a detention basin in his honor. In 2019, this board approved an action to formally change the name of the Owens Detention Basin to the Jim McGoy Detention Basin. And as was mentioned in the previous presentation, we are going to build a monument sign for Mr. McGoy to place out at the detention basin site in his honor. We did invite him to come to this meeting. I don't think he was able to make it, unfortunately, but we still wanted to get on record all the help and efforts that he put forward to help create this organization, and he really made a difference in this community. So, with
Thank
that,
you. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, with that, staff would recommend that the board accept the project presentation item 17A. We'll take 17B in a separate item.
I think we're all grateful that 30 years ago there were people that had more forethought, so that we're going to be in the place that we are today, and so grateful for him and for the lasting legacy that he had. And I think this is definitely a great way to honor his legacy for this body. All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to accept the project presentation and approve the chair to sign the interlocal for construction. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 18 is action to approve a proclamation that July 2023 be proclaimed Flash Flood Awareness Month, and all residents and visitors be urged to make themselves aware of the dangers of flash flooding in order to take the necessary precautions in preventing the loss of life and property. Mr. Chair, as you do every July, we have this board issue a proclamation naming July as Flash Flood Awareness Month. This is an effort, one of the things we do is an effort to make sure our citizens are aware of the dangers of flooding in Clark County. While it can rain any time of the year, July, August, and September are the 3 months we worry about the most in terms of flash flooding. This is our monsoon season when we can see the moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico and interacting with our heat and creating those large thunderstorms that we see during the summer months. So we want to proclaim July as Flash Flood Awareness Month to raise awareness to the flash flood season. Just a reminder that 6 inches of water is enough to sweep a person off their feet. 12 inches of water is enough to cause most vehicles to float. So we just recommend don't walk or drive through any flooded areas. Our storms generally pass very quickly. And just if you can wait it out, that's the best advice. Just stay indoors and wait till the storm is done and then go about your business. Our mission is to improve the protection of life and property for existing and future residents. We have a lot of new residents moving into Las Vegas and Clark County all the time, and so making sure that those people are aware of the dangers that they are moving to a desert, but it does rain here, and can flood is an important part of our message. So again, this designation of Flash Flood Awareness Month provides us that opportunity to just disseminate this information and help educate the public. And a more informed public is a safer public. We do a lot of outreach through our public information efforts. We have our flood advertising campaign with our billboards that you see all over Clark County. We also do radio, TV, and print ads, and the Ranger Danger ads, as you mentioned earlier, is an important part of that this year. And then our staff, Michelle French, does a lot of community outreach events, and she visits elementary schools and talks to 2nd and 3rd graders to try to just drive home that message. She visits thousands of students a year and brings home our Be Flood Safe message to the students. So again, our flood safety message is encouraging all residents and visitors to be aware of flash flooding, to be careful when it's raining, to know what to do when a storm event hits. And so again, the more they know, the better we are. At least 50% of all flood-related deaths result in people trying to drive through a flooded area and they don't make it. And their car stalls out or gets swept away. A lot of times if a car stalls, the water can still be rising and it can swamp those vehicles, and then you have a problem. So just don't drive through flooded areas. We've got a couple of videos, just short snippets of videos that we've played for our advertising campaign. One more. So no words, but ominous music, and the video speaks for itself. Water always wins. Oops. So completed to date, we've completed 106 detention basins throughout Clark County. About 684 miles of channels and storm drains have been constructed since inception of the district. As a result of all those facilities, 65 square miles of flood zone, special flood hazard areas have been removed from the FEMA flood maps, which is a great achievement. But more work to do. We're about 75% done with our master plan. We still have 37 detention basins and over 200 miles of channels and storm drains left to build. So still areas that need some work. And we'll continue building facilities every year, try to build on those numbers. So just to sum up, when driving, stay out of flooded roadways. We were kind of heartened by some of the videos last year of people pulling up and seeing water going across the road, and they made a U-turn and went somewhere else. So you can usually find another route or just wait it out, like I said, is the best advice. Remember that channels, storm drains, and detention basins are inherently dangerous, and they're not designed for people to be in them. So just stay out of the flood channels, stay out of the washes when it's raining in particular. And you can certainly get carried away. This water moves very fast. You can get carried away and injured or killed very, very easily. Remember, if you're going hiking or biking up in the mountains, those slot canyons, water can rise up in those very quickly with very little warning. So check the weather reports before you go hiking or biking. And if you're out there when it's raining, get to higher ground and have an escape route planned. And then remember the advice from National Weather Service, don't turn around, don't drown, and remember that water always wins. And with that, staff would recommend that you approve the proclamation.
Entertain a motion. All right, there's a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 19 is comments by the general public.
This is the second time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak to the board, now is your opportunity. Please come forward to the microphone, state your name, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Doesn't look like there's anyone wishing to provide public comments. We'll go ahead and close the public comment period, and thank you for your participation.